Okay,
Okay.
we're live. Okay.
Yay.
Okay, ladies, you have always been at the forefront of supporting your various charities as well as what's happening now. Pasar Glamour, has already gone through three editions, and now you've just started this Art Aid. Could we actually know more about why did you guys start this? Obviously the reason is there, and the reason is that we need all the support now, but what's the thought process behind it?
Shall I take this? Usually every year when we hold Pasar Glamour, we would pick 3 or 5, different charities from 3 areas: women, children from disadvantaged backgrounds, and the arts. And last year we were extremely successful thanks to overwhelming support for Pasar Glamour, the sale, that we raised enough to give out our monies over 2 years in 2 separate tranches. So this year we were going to do the same thing. That means give out to the arts, women, and children. And what we thought was, the money that was ring fenced for the arts, we could use that to respond to the situation and the challenges that are facing the art scene right now, which is specifically the stream of lost jobs amongst the performing arts practitioners. So we had 25,000 ring fence for that. We thought, in order to sort of make our efforts to double or triple our efforts, we started looking for donors who were willing to, join us or band together with us. And we were very, very lucky to find one very kind donor who wishes to remain anonymous. And they matched our 25,000. So we started off with 50,000, and now we're going on a public campaign to find other match donors to match this 50, so that we can raise at least 100K. And that will allow us to support at the minimum, 200 people with a once-off grant.
Right, it's amazing because we all know what the cultural matching fund is. What matching fund are you calling this?
Pasar Glamour.
In the arts, fundraising is part and parcel of our lifeblood. And the thing is, Pasar Glamour is not a charity in and of itself, which is why it was important for us to pair up with an organization like Ray of Hope, which is a registered charity and also very experienced in giving a platform for fundraising for vulnerable groups. So we wanted sort of to tap on their expertise to help us, do it in a very accountable and transparent manner. So that has been, very useful to us, and we hope that will give confidence for a wide range of people, even those from outside the arts, to say, we want to do a little bit to help this group of people who have contributed to the cultural life and vitality of Singapore.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Touching on Jenny's point, you can check out Ray of Hope at rayofhope.sg. Just to share, they are a registered charity and a member of the National Council of Social Service. So it's all legit. So, don't worry about putting our money where this cause it really concerns you and you really want to help. So this is a great thing you ladies are doing.
Yeah,
unfortunately, we can't have today, but you two are stalwarts, right?
I don't know about that, but thank you for your trust. I think that was really important for us, that we don't get to see the money at all. The money goes straight to Ray of Hope, and it goes straight to the recipients, because in the application process, we ask for their bank accounts. So once they've been selected, the money goes straight to them, and there is no fee. And the people who are helping to administer this in the team, everybody at Ray of Hope are doing this also pro bono, and so it's like every dollar goes to the people who need it. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, Janice?
No, I was going to say that, I think of course, the three of us as representative of Pasar Glamour Art Aid, we are the very visible face of the arts. We are performers, we are on stage, we are the voices. But I think people forget that the majority of arts workers are actually behind the scenes and not actually on stage, and they are suffering even more, if not a lot worse than we are, because many of our practitioners actually hold multiple jobs as freelancers across different organizations, but they're all in the same sector. So when that sector falls as a result of event closures, actually they lose multiple streams of income, and that could be income that their families were relying on. So this is something that we know that it's just a tip of the iceberg and a drop in the ocean, but just raising some awareness around this group of people and giving back to an industry that has given us a lifeline. For me, in this case, they are my family. So, that's why it is meaningful for us.
Right. Can both of you just touch on one point, grant application? I mean, we have heard so many grants coming out from the government in the last 2 to 3 weeks. How easy are you going to make this? Are we still going to be Singaporean? Are we still going to fill out forms? What is the whole thing about?
Yes, let me tell you. I mean, all this, believe it or not, was put together in like 2 weeks. Okay. So, but in that 2 weeks, there have been like a gajillion emails and texts about nitpicking at, like little words and how do we do this? I'm afraid you're going to have to fill a form.
Okay.
That is the true blue Singaporean way. However, we have really tried to, I mean, we've stayed up nights with discussions about this kind of people can or not. If they are this person with this job, can or not. I mean, so, and we realized that we needed to be prepared for all kinds of situations. But at the same time, the whole point of this fund is to really capture the people who are falling through the cracks, who are unable to reach out to any of the other funding opportunities. So we have tried to make it very simple. And I think Janice can talk about the criteria a little bit better. But we've really tried to simplify the process. So don't be afraid to show us like whatever you can. But Janice, why don't you tell us about the criteria of who can apply?
Well, first of all, we were about to launch the fund something like 2 weeks ago, but we were aware that, government was going to announce a slew of measures to support Singaporeans and workers. And of course, they came up with various schemes like the temporary relief scheme and the self-employed, relief, called SIRS, if I'm not wrong. And that was going to, across the board, give some relief to freelancers in general. However, as with a lot of government schemes, there is some basic criteria, which is a form of means testing. So they would look at your annual income, maybe tax returns. They will look at your property type and what your spouses are earning. So a number of freelancers started to feedback that they were falling in between. They couldn't access this money anyway. So I think for us, we are trying to help those who lost jobs, and we're trying to help those who are relying on the art scene to give them a source of income on a regular basis. So if you have a part-time job and you also work in the arts, we will definitely consider you. But that doesn't mean we might, however, prioritize someone who only, for example, relies on freelance work throughout the year. Because that's where the money is lost. But that's where the income has been lost. So in a way, you do have to prove that you've lost work. And other than that, then we just look at situationally, what kind of burdens are you bearing financially? How many dependents do you have? But we're not going to ask you for your tax returns. We're not asking you to tell us what kind of house you live in. And I think that for many freelancers will free up, their ability to access the money, because actually many freelancers don't even declare or file their taxes, thinking that they don't need to. So they might not be able to access government funding.
Perhaps that's a conversation which we have to have another day, because I think this is very important. I mean, the experience which you ladies have. I mean, having been in the art scene for so long, perhaps you can share your expertise and experience with the freelancers of today. But anyway, touching on your point, I mean, that's fantastic, providing those that have fallen through the cracks especially. But I mean, that's also tricky, right, for the three of you and all those who are governing this fund which you are dispersing. Because, I mean, you can't please everybody. But what is the median range of what you're looking at so people can come forward more readily?
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, I mean, you have just said some things like, if you have fallen through the cracks, come forward and we can assess your situation. Some people might be already afraid because they have been rejected a few times already. What is the best way to reach out to this fund? Is it through just the form or personally?
I think, if you go to our website and even on the page itself, everything is laid out very clearly. If you in any way being employed in the performing arts scene, on the stage or off the stage, right?
Right.
And you can prove that, you don't even have to show contract. You can even give us the date of the show, company that, employed you, some sort of SMS or text that proves that you were being hired for this purpose in the last 6 months, and also shows that have been canceled in the future, now and in the future since January because of the COVID situation. I think that's all the proof we need. Plus other criteria that we've listed out there. So we've even left a box open for you to express yourself as to why you really need this fund. So it really it's a very artistic way, I suppose, of asking for funding. I mean, for some sort of relief in that we're not necessarily we're not going to put you in a grid of any sort. We're not going to, put you on a chart or something. It's really a case by case basis, I think. Yeah.
I also think that, I think most Singaporeans, will find it quite hard to lay bare why they need this kind of help. And I'm guessing that a majority wouldn't just come and apply for it if they didn't need it to begin with, I hope. Nevertheless, that's why we work with Ray of Hope, because they have experience in helping us craft the kind of questions we need to ask and why we're asking it. And in a way, they help us filter through those applications because, in my past life, this is what I used to do at the Arts Council. Funding. So I'm, in a very ironic way, I find myself going back to my roots, doing grant application.
You're so good at this.
So actually, right, it felt a little bit like second nature when I was like putting together this application form. It was very strange, but it's not easy. There will be people who will still complain. It's not like we can't please everybody. We only have this pool of money, and if we had an infinite amount of money to give, we would help anybody who comes through our doors, but we don't. And in that sense, we do need some criteria to help compare the cases, and we'll always prioritize the ones that are more deserving because they are more in need. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
sounds like Janice Cole is back in Parliament. Yeah.
She is.
I don't know. I'm back in my I've got my administrator hat on.
I have to say, I mean, I think, when we were doing this, we really did try and think of all the different scenarios of what might apply. And we really don't know. We really don't know until this fund goes out and people actually apply. And if we can give up to 200 people and 201 people apply, then lucky for us. But if 1,000 people apply and, and we have to disappoint the majority of them, then it just tells us something, right? It's kind of like an interesting kind of a survey that we're doing as well as to how many freelancers we have, how many people are really in need. So actually with our fundraising, within less than a day of us starting the campaign, we've hit, I think, almost 45% completed. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You're not.
Wowzer. So if we exceed this, and by some stroke of lightning or miracle, we get to raise more than $100,000, we can help more people. So I guess that's really up to all of us to see how much we care about the arts in Singapore.
Yeah, I feel like, sometimes when we're stuck, and we kind of feel a little bit stuck, able to do what our core work is, which is, being out there, performing or whatever. I feel like this is our way of sort of being useful at a time where at a time of anxiety, really, and some degree of helplessness, and it just makes staying at home feel a lot more productive.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what both of you ladies have just shared. Can you just share with me though, besides donating on rayofhope.sg, if they choose to remain anonymous and they want to donate specifically to this fund, who can they approach?
Anybody.
I mean, right now,
is there an avenue?
Right now, on the Pasar Glamour Art Aid campaign, it's hosted by Ray of Hope.
Correct.
And you can remain anonymous through this fund. But if you prefer to reach out to us directly at Pasar Glamour on that campaign, we also have our website and an ability to contact us directly. So people can still support Pasar Glamour in general, which also supports women and children, from vulnerable backgrounds.
Fantastic. I mean, now everything is going online. Even this interview is going online. And you are having a charity concert that's going on later this evening.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you are having, live performances, in aid of this fund. It's almost like a fundraiser in a sense. It's happening this evening, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. They have a slew of actors. Both of them look excited. Why don't you start, Petrina? You look like you are bursting into... Bursting in excitement. No? Oh, okay. It's just natural, is it?
What's interesting is you call it a concert. Well, I'm afraid...
well, you see, the story behind this, this lineup, is that our dear friend, Pam Wee, no longer has an Aware Super Women in Concert organized anymore. And so when we decided to do a song challenge amongst our friends to try and raise awareness about this campaign, she starts to line them up like how she does it, like a warden, and make sure she's gonna make sure they're on time, that they look good, that they're gonna be spontaneous, and that they post it on their video. So it's almost like we are having a concert. That's how it became like a lineup. And some of these people include, Gurmit Singh, Joanna Dong, Ben King, Fakir Faz, Rishi and Sharul, the comedians, a whole host of theater actors. And it'll be really fun because they have to do a song challenge that is actually very simple to remember the lines, but will screw up your brain completely when you actually try and do it. So it will start at 5 p.m. We will share with you some of the IG addresses for some of these performers, and you have to go and watch them do it live because it's a challenge. We'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, we'll see how well they do. I mean, I've been doing this for at least a week now, and I still can't get through it. So, the whole point is to fail, and to fail fabulously. But you know what? Knowing these actors, a lot of them are going to ace it because they're just fabulous this way. But yeah, it's just a fun way to get people to take part in the challenge and to challenge other people. So a lot of them will be tagging other friends. And you know what, Richard, you try it yourself because it's heaps of fun.
But I think exactly as what you say, this is a trying time for all of us, and we can only try and we can only do as much as we can. I think that the hashtag is Help Performing Arts. This is the challenge which they are doing. It starts at 5 o'clock with Benjamin King, and it goes in 15-minute intervals. And these ladies are not going to give them an easy time. Trust me. Am I right?
Yes.
Right?
Oh, it's kind of tough. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to put the link of all the the actors that are coming on with their Instagram accounts, as
Great.
well as the link where you can donate live, because every cent counts. And as we say, don't care about the goal. It's 100,000, but if we go beyond that, we get to save more people's jobs. We get to save their families and keep them safe, because we do not know when this is going to end. So we can only stay strong and support each other.
Yeah.
And we don't know when theaters will open again. So
Absolutely.
Let's try and help each other and keep it light, and just share.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies, for your time. I
Thank
will
you.
see you at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye.